All right, looks like that's Sass and Samantha who will be taking part in our AMA are finishing up a few details.
So, you and Sass are gonna handle the questions, I'm assuming.
I think that Sass is gonna probably go
Yeah,
along.
yeah, probably.
Hey
Yeah,
everybody. I hope everybody's doing good.
real talk.
Um,
What's up? What's up?
all right. So I want to introduce Sam. Sam was yesterday at the Las Vegas shootings. Sam was in attendance of the Jason Aldean concert and that concert in general, right near Mandalay Bay. Sam was nice enough to come here and talk with us. Um, in talking with Sam, I kind of just mentioned how a lot of people are confused in America, the world, what happened. Um, and I think people just want some more information, and we're very grateful for Sam coming here. In in the channel, guys, please post your questions. Um, we're gonna start and open it up to Sam. Sam is gonna kind of give you a background of exactly what happened, her story, why she was there, so on and so forth, and whatever else she feels comfortable with. So I'm gonna go ahead and hand it off to you, Sam, and
Hi.
floor is yours.
Okay. I have attended the Route 91 Harvest Festival since the first one, so I've been there. Kind of look forward to it every year. And this year I'm a little bit older and didn't want to be in the general admission crowd, so I did buy VIP tickets. I was able to get into like a quiet, not a quieter, but like a more private area that was kind of more sectioned off, and we had our own entrance and exit. And I wasn't down in the general admission, just because, like I said, I'm just over kind of that stage in my life. And we were staying at Mandalay Bay. Actually, checked in the same day as the shooter, not obviously knowing that. And so we were at the show, and the first 2 nights we had stayed, the suite level had 3 levels. They had a ground level, and then a second level was like a patio deck, and then the top level was like a rooftop. It was just like a metal, like aluminum, whatever structure that had like a kind of like a fire escape ish type of steps to get up and down. And the whole selling feature was that it was kind of private and air conditioned in the little room and stuff. So for the first 2 nights, like I said, we had sat downstairs on the grass area and made some friends with people that were in our suite with us. There were 20 people in each suite. And I don't know why that we decided last night to go up on the second level. And but we did, and sat up there with 2 other couples. So there were 6 of us. I'm sorry, there were 8 of us up there altogether. And I think there's 8 of us, and just having a good time. And the concert started, and I commented to my boyfriend, like, I couldn't believe how many people were there and how packed the place was. And then I think it was like a half hour in, it was just after 10, and I heard 3 gunshots, and I knew right away that they were gunshots. And I work in an area that, unfortunately, that kind of thing isn't crazy uncommon. And I grabbed my boyfriend's arm and I said, "Somebody's shooting in the crowd." And I honestly, for that split second, thought it was, just 2 idiots drunk or whatever, and somebody had a gun somehow. And but I grabbed his arm and I said, "Come in here." And as soon as he stood up, it started like machine gun firing, and it was just, I mean, just like overwhelmingly insane. I've never in my life seen anything like that. Or so as soon as I heard the really rapid firing, I looked to the front of the stage, and you could see people just. I saw 2 girls in particular just fly up in the air. They had been hit, and then I looked behind us, and there were people at the back of the stage that were falling to the ground. And so we got into this little space, and there were 8 of us in there, and the one guy locked the door and was yelling for us all to get down. And it was like a metal ledge, and then it had a plexiglass type of window, and that little space was air conditioned. And so he was yelling for us all to get down, and he reached up and unscrewed the light bulb so that our little area was dark. and it was like maybe like 5 or 10 seconds of silence and people screaming, and then we started to kind of like look around, and then all of a sudden it would start over again. And that he was a found out later that he was an off-duty police officer, and he started yelling to us, it's a sniper, stay down, the gunshots are coming from above us. And like I said, it was just unbelievably horrifically scary. And I think we were in there for a total of 20 minutes, and I felt like about 3 days that we were laying there on the floor. And then it's got, you'd hear like 3 or 4 single shots, and then all of a sudden you'd hear like just bam, 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 just crazy. I mean, at one point I counted 38 in a row, and I just kept praying out loud. Like I just couldn't believe it was happening. And I said to my boyfriend, there's got to be more than one shooter. Like, this is insane. Like, why haven't anybody stopped him? And like, what is happening? And I don't know, bombs were going to start going off and people were screaming. And at this point, like I said, we were laying on the ground on the floor of this. And then the plexiglass above our heads just started to shatter, and he had shot straight across the wall in our suite. And had any of us been standing up, I mean, but then I thought, what if it like fucking goes down below? And like my boyfriend was laying in front of me, and I just kept thinking like, oh my God, if he gets shot, like, and I see this happen. And I was literally praying out loud and holding on to the 2 women that were next to me, and they were sobbing. And then somebody started banging on our suite door telling us to run. And I crawled to the door. I was the closest to that door, and I crawled over, and I couldn't get it unlocked. And so I was like crying at that point. And another guy, he crawled over and he unlocked the door, and then we all crawled out the fire escape. And at that point, like, it was the most horrific thing I've ever seen. There was a girl in front of me that had been shot in the face, and her friends were trying to carry her, and they were screaming. There was a woman next to me, her husband had been shot in the back, and she was trying to stay with him, and people were pushing her away. And my boyfriend helped a guy get up over the fence who was, one arm was just completely gone. I mean, it was just something that I don't know. I just never thought I would see it, and I don't understand it. And this whole time, people were screaming, and you could just hear the boom, 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 those fast gunshots. And at that point, I was stayed with the lady that they wouldn't let her go with her husband in the ambulance. And at that point, we were on the street, and I don't know, it was just fucking insane. And then they started telling us to run, and so they corralled us they kept telling us run here. And so they pushed us all into a casino, and I felt like a sitting duck. And I kept telling my boyfriend, we need to get the fuck out of here. Like, we need to run. Like, we can't just sit here. Like, we need to go. And he honestly didn't want to. He kept telling me to sit down and just relax. And then somebody bust through the front door of that casino yelling, he's coming, he's coming, he's coming this way. And just, it was mass hysteria again. And everybody started running. And at that point, they started locking down the different places. So there was literally nowhere to go. I ended up running down an interstate. I have no idea. I mean, we were just running towards the airport. I'm not athletic. I don't run. And I think I ran, I don't even know how far. And I'm not at all. I mean, thank God I have no, besides bruises on my knees, and my feet are cut up because I lost my shoes. I am not injured at all, and I'm so thankful to God. But just seeing the carnage and and I knew as they were reporting, and they were saying, 5 people injured, and I'm like, no fucking way. Like, there's tons of people hurt. I mean, it was insane. It was just insane. So I ended up, we ran for, I don't even know how far. I mean, I just kept running, and I kept thinking, like, they don't want to shoot just me. Like, they want to shoot a whole group of people. And if I can get away from the big group of people and just keep running, I don't know. So we kept running, and then we got to the interstate, and there were cars everywhere. And I just ran to like this really nice car, and there was a lady in the car, and I just pounded on her window, and I was like, please help us. And she was great. She let us get in her car, and, just drove us out of town about 10 miles, and left us off at another hotel. And then we went in the hotel and waited for information. So that was all about, started at 10 o'clock and ended at about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Sam, that was, I mean, that is, first off, thank you for sharing that. I wanted to mention, I mean, that was powerful. I'm gonna say that because it's tough. 'Cause you got me a little. That's. I appreciate
You know,
you being so strong.
it's so frustrating when, you know, you think like, oh, this is what I would do in this situation. And I'm telling you right now, you have no fucking idea what you would do in that situation until it happens. Because I was looking at Facebook and I saw somebody say, like, you know, this doesn't scare me. I'm going to still go to concerts and I'm going to still travel. And I'm like, you know what? You weren't fucking there. Like, if you
Right.
were there
Right.
and you saw bullets flying above your head and you saw people, I mean, you saw gravel flying and then humans flying through the air, and you know what? You'd think twice before. And that, I will never again say what I would do in a situation until I'm in it, because I mean, besides knowing that I would pray, and that's, you know, I'm not good with blood. I'm not good with like injuries, and so I'm not one of those people that could like, you know, render aid as far as like medically. But I mean, just holding people and praying. And I ran into a girl, literally, we were running and she was alone and she was screaming and she was by herself, and I thought to myself, oh my God, like I can't imagine like if I was by myself, if I had been separated from my friends. And you know, so I ended up like holding her and, you know, just trying to talk to her and consoling her and just, you know, wishing I knew like what happened to the people. And I know the one girl that I met she was from Wisconsin and she was 22. My daughter's 22. And she was the girl that got shot in the face and her friends were carrying her. And I just, like, I wish I knew like more about how she's doing, but I don't even, like, I just know her first name, and that she's from Wisconsin. So I don't know, but it just sucked, man. I'm sorry.
No, it's, believe me. I have a feeling out of the tons of people that are here right now, there are quite a few crying right along with you.
Real talk.
Yeah.
Not only because of what happened, but because how strong you are and everybody who made it out of there, okay? So you know, we're behind you, we support you, we love you, and everybody that was there.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, there were so many people that were so much braver than me. I mean, you know,
no.
I was watching people like throw people over the wall and, you know, just like, oh my God, just, I don't know. It was just crazy. So crazy. Okay.
So again, thank you, and you can take a deep breath and feel free to take a break as needed, kind of like we talked about. I may even need one, to be honest with you, because it is.
Real talk.
So I'm gonna open it up to questions from our users, who all appreciate you being here, and they've all mentioned that in the chat. They absolutely just are so appreciative to hear your story, your emotions, and they all support you and everyone that was there and love you guys. So you know that. So our first question from a user is: at what point did you feel safe, and what caused that feeling?
You know, quite honestly, like I'm sitting here in the airport, and besides the fact that, you know, there's so much security here right now, and they had bomb sniffing dogs, like I still don't, you know, I don't know that I feel safe. Like I feel like at any second, like, you know, just something could happen. I think last night, I certainly didn't feel safe anywhere on the strip. I mean, I didn't, no matter which hotel they were pushing us into in casino, like I did not feel safe. And that was something I kept saying to my boyfriend, I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. And even getting in that lady's car, you know, I just kept thinking like, God, like what if there's bombs? Like, you know, I don't know. I didn't know if it was like a terrorist attack. And at that point, there were so many people in the hotels and the different concert goers that were hearing things and saying like, you know, there's 5 of them and they're shooting people in the casinos. And so at this point, you know, I didn't know if there were like bombs going to start going off all around us. And we got to this hotel that was, like I said, 10 miles outside of the strip. And of course I got there and there were police all over there. And I asked the one guy, I was like, am I safe here? You know, and he he was like, yeah, you're gonna be okay, you're gonna be safe. And we went in the room, and I didn't sleep at all. I haven't slept at all. I just sat there on the bed, like watching the whole thing unfold, and just I don't know that I will ever completely feel safe when you see the lines going into these places, and they're wanding you, and they're metal detecting you, and they're and he wasn't even in the venue. He was across the street in the hotel that I was staying at. I was on the 21st floor, he was on the 32nd floor. um and just the fact that he got in there with all those weapons and all that ammunition. And I don't know, like, are we ever safe? I don't know. This world is just insane.
I mean, it really is. And it's really just, heartbreaking overall. We've seen this not only in America, we've seen this in other countries all around Europe. And it's just sad. So I'm going to thank you for that. I'm going to move on to another question from a user. And that user is Crimea. And they asked you, Sam, how should a person react if they find themselves under a similar situation? If you have any suggestions or, advice.
I think the advice that kept being given to us was to be calm. And as corny as that sounds, like, getting freaked out doesn't make you're already freaked out. And so, like, there were so many people around me that were screaming, and women that were absolutely hysterical, and you couldn't tell had they been shot. I mean, besides the obvious people that had blood, or the guy with the missing arm, like, those people you could tell they had been shot. But otherwise, like, they couldn't tell, like, were you just hysterical, or had you been injured. um and I just, like, for me, like, I do a lot of prayer, and I kept praying, like, literally out loud. And I just kept praying that, I literally said at one point, God, I don't want to die at a Jason Aldean concert. I was so just trying to keep myself calm. And then you have to be able to think. I mean, hearing that sound, and then, like I said, that guy that did our light bulb, I mean, none of us knew where the light switch was. So for him to have the wherewithal to know we needed to be in the dark, and know we couldn't let this guy see that we were in there. So I think to try your best to just stay calm, and just to, the self-preservation. And I don't know, I swear it was my dad's been dead. And actually Thursday, my dad will be gone for 7 years. And I just kept hearing him telling me, like, run, Ruth, run. And I remember thinking, like, we got to go, we just got to go. We got to run. And I can't honestly say I was, like, super calm. I mean, at some points I think I was really good. I was really proud of myself. And at other points I just, I would just lose it. And just, you're not used to seeing people hurting like that. And I felt truly helpless, because I'm not medical at all. And just to literally be, walking over people that are bleeding, and having other people tying tourniquets and doing things that I wouldn't even know how to do. And so I guess that would be my biggest advice. Everybody just kept telling us, like, be calm, be calm. And I think that's probably as much as you can be.
No, absolutely. I appreciate that. So our next question, Sam, we've been talking all day, and you know, you've been watching the news. I've been watching the news, and the one question here is from Pep, and it is, okay, here we go. Did you witness the lady who was had supposedly warned the crowd that they were all going to die?
No, like I said, we were up in the suites. I heard that was something that was said out in the front row area. We saw, like, in fact, at one point we did see a guy and an Asian woman being escorted out by security. And so when we started getting the reports that it was an older guy with an Asian woman, my boyfriend was like, "Oh my God, I wonder if it was that couple that we saw getting kicked out." And it ends up it wasn't. He had never entered the concert area, and the woman that they were looking for is actually out of the country. We get briefings from a private thing that they gave us. Is not even at the concert. And so if there was someone yelling or making those threats, I didn't hear anything like that.
Okay, great. Thank you. The next question is from Blackhawk342. What, if anything, do you think is being exaggerated by media reports that you've seen so far?
You know, I'm so saddened to say I don't think anything has been exaggerated. And like I said, when we started seeing the reports of, 5 people dead, and we were like, no way, no way, there's more dead. Like, there's no way it's just 5. And then, um, so I don't know. And I guess for me, like listening to it over and over, like I wish they would stop that. Like I don't want to see one of those videos again. Like I can't fucking stand hearing that noise and hearing the screaming. Like I don't want to. And so I hate that they keep playing. And I understand the people that weren't there, but for the people that were there, and there were 22,000 of us, like we don't want to hear that over and over. And I get that they need that, and I understand that, and I've just been turning it off. But honestly, like there were police everywhere already at the venue. There was really good security at the venue. I mean, the police were amazing, but again, they didn't know. And the one police officer that we saw get shot in the neck, and like, I mean, he just died. He just like dropped down, like literally died. Like, I mean, probably 15 feet in front of us, and like just to think that those people, like as we were all running away, like they were running in there and they didn't know either. They didn't know where it was coming from, and I can't imagine that kind of bravery. I mean, I can't. I could never do that.
They were definitely brave. But so Sam, you were just as brave.
No.
You really
I
were.
appreciate that, but I mean, I was scared.
I get what you're saying, but the fact that you're here right now, the fact that you're able to talk about it, the fact that you got out, the fact that you were resilient to get to a car, get out, and help people. Your boyfriend helped someone get over the fence. That is strong. You were strong. Um,
Mm.
so the next question is from Valency, and the question is, how fast was the response of the security and officials?
I think they were as much in shock and not. I think it like I heard so many people say like, "Was that fireworks? Is that fireworks?" And like there were so many people, and so and there were so many people. If you can imagine, I mean this is like it's a giant parking lot, so it's not that big of an area, and they packed 22,000 people. So you couldn't really tell what was going on. Like because of my vantage point being up high like that, and I could see the people being shot. But if I was down there on that ground level, I wouldn't have seen what I saw. So I was able to see like what the fuck, like somebody is shooting all these people. And I think the people on the ground, which is where all of security was, they were running around like they didn't know. And it wasn't like I said, the guy in my suite knew it was coming from up above, knew it was a sniper, told us all to stay down. Like he was obviously trained and knew a lot more. I knew I could at us.
All right, thank you. So like I said, you and I have been talking all day. This is a question from me to you, kind of about, I guess, your stance, given that we now know, and this was just released, the shooter had over 18 guns, explosives, so on and so forth, okay? Do you think any regulation on guns would have actually stopped this massacre?
Um, I have concealed to carry permits. I have 2 guns in my car right now back at the airport where I'm trying to get to. I have a sawed-off shotgun on one side of my bed, a revolver on the other. I live alone. While my daughter lives with me, so I'm all about my guns. I practice shooting in my backyard. I want to protect myself, and I want to be safe. It wasn't the guns that did this. It was the asshole behind those guns. Yeah, I guess I get questioned obviously every time I buy a gun, and I don't know how he got so many. I would think at some point if I besides being maybe if I was a gun collector and I was buying different, all four of my guns are different. So maybe nobody would really, but from what I understand, he had semi-automatic rifles and rifles that he made automatic rifles. Um, yeah, I mean, I wish somebody maybe would have been like, hi, I wonder why this guy's buying all these guns. But I don't know. Again, it wasn't the guns. It wasn't, it was a fucking crazy ass lunatic uh, that wanted to hurt. He could have done it with poison. He could have done it with all. He chose to shoot and kill people with guns, and so I mean, yeah. Do I wish that somehow there would have been some, but I don't know. I was wondering. Did he have other people buy it for him? Did he buy this over the course of 5 years? I mean, how long has he been planning this? From what we got, one of the briefings said that over the last 3 months, he spent his entire life savings in the casinos over the last 3 months. So had he been planning this? Like, I mean, he was from Las Vegas, so he knew about this festival. Like, was he planning it? Was he like, I'm just gonna, so has he been storing all this stuff up? Have other people been, who knows? I don't know. And he took the fucking coward way out. He shot himself, and we're never gonna know unless there's something on his computer or something where somebody can find out. But no, I'm not against guns. I mean, and what sucks is, like everybody in the concert, I'm sure the majority of those people have been around guns. I mean, it was a country concert, and these are like America kind of people, and I'm sure had those guys been able to have their guns, it probably would have been worse because they probably would have been shooting crazy random and not knowing what they were shooting. Um, but no, it wasn't the gun's fault, and I don't know. I don't think it would have, like I said, could someone have maybe thought they had too many, or maybe they could regulate how many rounds? I don't know. Something. I don't know.
No, it's a good answer. Hey, we'll take 1 minute. So get a drink real quick or something. Just 1 minute. Want to remind users, if you go down to the user settings right next to your avatar at the way bottom, and you click user settings and you go to notifications, you can turn off users joining and leaving the channel so you don't hear that noise. Just so you guys know, if you're hearing people leaving and entering, it's because you have notifications on of people entering and leaving. So again, in the bottom area of your screen, it has your picture. To the right, it says user settings. Click user settings, notifications, scroll down, and turn off user leave, user moved, user join. And you won't hear that. All right. So let's get to the next question. And the next question here is from Nubel. And her question to you, Sam, is if the murderer was still alive, what do you think justified punishment would be?
I was, you said I could be candid. I was telling my boyfriend, like, I would even like to take his body now and skin it and like gouge his eyeballs out. Like, I mean, and I'm a Christian. I don't believe in that. But again, I've never been in this situation before. And I mean, I just, I just hate him. Like, I hate that he took away like my favorite thing to do every year. Like, I hate that, that he took that away from me. And I hate that I'm scared, like I'm not that kind of person. Like, I'm not a scared person. I've got a tattoo on my arm that says brave, which is now a joke, but I mean, I'm not a scared person, and I just hate that somebody could take that away from me like so fast and just take that away from so many other people. And I know there were so many younger. I mean, there were babies at this thing. Like, would I have brought a baby to that? No, but I mean, there were women with babies and strollers, and one of the a little boy that Jason Aldean gave his hat to was probably like 5, and he was on his dad's shoulders way up at the front of the crowd. Like, I hate that that person away like took away our feeling of safety and feeling like we're okay. Like, I hate it. And I don't like hate. I don't like bitterness. I don't want to be that way. But right now, like, I would like to kill him if he wasn't dead. And I'm so sorry that I said that, but I just feel like I hate him so bad. Like, I hate him. And I don't even think death is fair. Like, at first they said that the police stormed in and killed him. And then, so I was kind of like, well, that's cool. Like, I hope it scared the shit out of him, and then they briefed us and said that he had actually killed himself. He had cameras in the hallway and saw them coming, and he had killed himself before the police got in his room. And I was like, fuck you, dude. Like you just leave, like you did all this and then you just leave, like nobody, like not even there could be an explanation, but like, it's just such a coward's way out. And just I can't even, like, I hate him. And I don't hate, I try not to hate. I mean, I have an ex-husband, so if I was gonna hate, I would hate him, and I don't want to hate. But right now, sitting here, I hate this guy. I hate him.
Thank you. Sorry, you got me doing the same thing. So our next question comes from Commander Khan, and his question is, or her, did you see the shooter, and was he on the ground or was he firing from above from his hotel room window? There have been multiple reports.
I never saw him, and when the pictures got released, I was wondering because we were in the same hotel. The elevators are separated by floors, so it was obviously strategic. He picked the highest floor, the first level suite on that floor with a corner window. No, from what they briefed us, he used a hammer to break out. Why we thought there were two separate areas for shooters is that he had two shooting platforms, one in each window, and it was a corner room. So the one room window, he could shoot the front of the stage, and out of the other window, he could shoot the people at the back of the stage, and or the back of the crowd. So he was never on the ground. The only firing that was coming from the ground were the police officers, and no matter where you looked, I mean, there were police officers with their guns drawn, not shooting randomly at all, but somebody told us that they could see flashes of light coming out of the Mandalay Bay window, and at that point I certainly wasn't going to look there, but that's where the guy was telling us the shooting was coming from, was up above. So no, he was never, there were no bad guy shooters on the ground. I mean, the only people with guns on the ground were the police.
Thank you. So I think a lot of users are kind of wondering, were you contacted by the police or military, CIA, FBI, or anyone after still in contact with you, or did they give you information? Is there a protocol? Anything like that?
Yeah, they've been great. The Las Vegas Police Department set up this special number that we can all get information from. They asked for our cell phones, if we had any videos or pictures, which I had not taken any pictures. Or I mean, in the video that I had recorded was of an earlier act, so they didn't want that. They were great as far as explaining things, and then we sat, like I said, and waited to be able. Once they locked down the strip, I was so thankful that we had gotten out of there. Other people I had talked to said that they were held up in safe rooms for up till 5-6 o'clock this morning. So at least I was able, with us running, we were able to get off the strip before that lockdown happened. And then we got the briefing about coming back to Mandalay Bay to get our things, and they asked us to just get our things and leave. And so we did that, and they were great. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, when we got to the door, I asked, there were tons of police officers and ATF agents and FBI agents, and I went right up to one of the guys and I was like, are there bombs? Like, do you think there? And they told us that they had gone through literally every room and that they had bomb sniffing dogs, and they assured us that we were safe to get our things and head back out. So I thought they were, I mean, they did. I, again, can't imagine having that kind of job. So
Yeah, I mean, that. Thank you. So the next question is, a year from a couple hours, there will be an anniversary of this event. This event is going to live down in history, and you are part of it, and you were brave. Will you go to the anniversary in Las Vegas next year?
No. I mean, right now, my answer right now is no. I mean, I've learned, in my life never to say never and just wait things out. But I mean, right now, I want to go home. I don't want to leave. I want to just stay home. I want to stay, where I feel most safe. I don't want to be around a bunch of people. I don't want to put myself, no, I don't want, and just thinking like of a big convergence of people
Right.
like that and some other idiot,
Absolutely.
no, I don't,
No.
no, I won't do anything with that.
Absolutely. Totally agree. So the next question comes from, it's kind of relates to this. It comes to Forrest Grump. Given what this shooter did, do you believe not only yesterday, but days that are similar to this deserve a national day of mourning?
Had you asked me and I wasn't there, I would probably say no. But being there and experiencing the magnitude of it in the way that, I mean, strangers, like, don't people that don't even know each other were helping. And yeah, I mean, it's just insane. I mean, it's yeah, I mean, I definitely need some time to process it. I mean, I can't imagine. And I know, my family back on the East Coast, they were, just devastated and were scared. And, my daughter even said, I don't know how I'm going to go to work today, which I didn't know if that was just an excuse because she is 22. But, I get it. Like, it's insane. You don't think that it's going to happen. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, our nation is just, God, it's fucked up.
Right. She's like, "Hey, mom, I can't go to work. I need like $100. Okay."
Yeah, she's like, Mom. And she texted me this morning and she said, I'm never gonna fight with you again. I was like, okay,
For a
that's
month or so. Come on, we both. I've got
yeah,
kids, so
yeah,
we both know that's not true.
right, right. So
So thank you for that. So kind of back to guns, Sam. Do you feel that there should be any limitations to guns whatsoever in the United States of America, whether it be the amount you own, capacity, so on and so forth? And we kind of talked about it before, but I'm more relating to, and what exactly would you change, or maybe nothing?
I gotta say, all the people that were there, I bet you if you'd have asked any of them before this, they would have said, no, absolutely not. There shouldn't be. And I guarantee you, if you asked any of them now, the majority of them are going to say, yeah, you know what? This was fucked up. Like, he had death machines. Like, he had enough stuff in that room to kill more people. I mean, he had, had he, I have, a couple of my guns that, one only holds 2 bullets, one holds 5, had he had something like that, he couldn't have done. I mean, 515 people injured, 59 people killed. I mean, he had way too much. Like, nobody, our military, needs that. No one person. No, he didn't need that. He didn't need that. And if he wouldn't have had it, I mean, so I'm not like, I don't want people to not have guns. It's not what I'm saying at all. Like, I wish I would have had one, but with me. But no, he had too many. Like, he had too much ammunition. I mean, thank God, thank God they saw what floor. I guess the smoke detectors um in the rooms next door to him started going off, and that's how they were able to pinpoint what room he was in. And it's just too many, too much.
No, absolutely. Um, Now, how do you feel based on watching the news, media reports, so on and so forth? How do you feel about President Trump's reaction so far? And I guess what is your take on him, this situation, and maybe situations similar to it?
I saw that they said he was going to be in Las Vegas on Wednesday, and he issued a statement. I saw the Pope issued a statement. I mean, God, country music singers are issuing statements, and that's all great. That's great. Whatever. Um, but this certainly isn't the president's fault, and I'm not gonna, I'm not very politically inclined to go either way. I mean, it's not his fault. He had nothing to do with it, and so I can't say that he could have done something different or could have changed something. This guy wasn't trying to kill black people. He wasn't trying to kill Muslim people. He wasn't trying to kill women. I mean, he was trying to kill whomever. He had no the way those bullets were spraying across that crowd, he had no intended target. I mean, he wanted to shoot anybody and everybody and didn't care. So it wasn't a race thing, it wasn't a religion thing, it wasn't a gay and lesbian thing, it was nothing. It was just a fucking madman with way too many guns and way too much ammunition. So I mean, whatever the president does, great. I'm glad he feels bad. The whole fucking world feels bad. So I don't know. I guess I don't know about it enough to care.
Fair enough. And that's exactly how I feel about it. So this question comes from Laganja, Carlos Danger. And you kind of already answered this, so I'm going to go ahead and skip that one. I'm going to move to a good question, and that's from Booger Hook. And his question is, where do we go from here? Take that how you want.
I'm sitting here in the airport and I'm waiting to see somebody start running. I'm just ready to see people start running and I don't know. I don't it wouldn't even matter. That venue had such great security. There were police and security guards all over the place. So you can't say, oh, they should have had more security. And now I'm hearing, well, maybe all the hotels should go through their luggage. And I guess this guy had room service in his room every single day while he's been there. They didn't see anything. I don't know. We're just our world is just there's evil. I mean, there's straight up evil in our world, and I don't know that any one group or anybody can keep us completely safe. I don't know.
No, good answer. This comes from Bubba, and recently they've released bulletproof backpacks. Number one, do you think you'll ever go to a concert ever again? And number two, would you suggest this being an item someone buys now?
Okay, so my knee jerk is no. I have no intentions of going to another concert. I was telling you earlier, I just bought tickets Saturday to go see a concert. I was going to surprise my brother, and I'm not going. I'm not even going to tell him. I'm just not going to go. Right now, and I get so pissed. I read somebody on Facebook, not to me personally, but wrote, I'm not going to let they're not there. They were somewhere on the East Coast where I'm from, and they were like, I'm not going to let this stop me from traveling and going to concerts. Fuck you. You weren't there, and I don't say what it would and wouldn't stop you. And I'm sorry, I swear a lot. I apologize, but don't tell me what you would or wouldn't do or how this isn't going to change you. Because you know what? If you were there and you saw bullets over your fucking head and spraying across the room that you were in, you may think twice about going to a 22,000 crowded area. So, I mean, yeah, no. Am I going to go right now? Absolutely not. I can't wait to get home. I live in the middle of nowhere. I live in the middle of the woods. I can't wait to just get home. Not to be around all these people. I just want to go home. And
hey Sam, someone else asked, so I'll throw that into what you just said. They wondered what you're going to do over the next 24 hours from now.
I'm going home. We came to the airport, and as did a lot of other people, just wanting to get the hell out of here. And I got here this morning at 11 o'clock, and I cannot get a flight out until 9:30 this evening. So I've spent the entire day here, which is fine. I'm not complaining. So I am going to go home. I am going to be with my dog. I'm going to be with my daughter and my mom and my brother, who I'm really close with. I just want to see them. And the bulletproof backpack, you know what? That's so stupid. People, the girl next to me got shot in the face. A guy, my boyfriend helped his arm from like that elbow down. He had no arm. Like that wouldn't have helped him. So you can, unless you're gonna wear a bulletproof suit. I don't know. I mean, the girl that we helped get across the street had been shot in the leg. Like these people were shot like randomly all over their bodies. I mean, there was no, if I'd have been running, I could have been shot in the back of the head. I could have been shot in the back of the leg. I mean, so I would not buy a bulletproof backpack. No. Sorry for the makers of the bulletproof backpack. I'm sure it's a great item, but
Yeah.
being there would not
Just
have.
crushed their hopes on Amazon.
Sorry. I'm just being real.
No, it's cool. And it was I didn't know those exist. So today I learned. So as far as the people who first heard the gunshots, could you see the crowd that was, say, for instance, right up front next to Jason Aldean? Could you see them? And when the first shots were fired, did literally the whole crowd start moving at once? And do you think of the 500 plus injuries, more were caused from the shots or were caused from people moving at once?
The first 3 gunshots, it was like pop, 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 like 3 slow, not slow, but 3 successive gunshots. And the people that had been immediately in the area where the 2 girls went down, they knew something was bad and they started to run. But again, other people didn't know. I mean, if I've been to Jason Aldean concerts before, he uses a lot of pyrotechnics. You could have thought it was part of the act. You could have thought maybe it was like something electrical going wrong. He kept singing, and it wasn't until the machine gun started to fire and you could see the flashes of light. And then I remember so vividly watching people fly in the air after being hit by that kind of force from those bullets, that like that's when the panic and people started screaming, I've been shot, he's shot, he's hurt. And people, I remember literally screaming. And that's when Jason Aldean ran off the stage. And I mean, there were bullets. You saw the bullets across the stage, just riddled across the stage. I mean, it was he was shooting everywhere. So yeah, I don't think. I think it was maybe a matter of like 10 seconds, 10 or 15 seconds that people were a little bit confused. Those people though and again, where my vantage point was, I knew exactly what was going on. I saw the 2 girls get shot immediately. I saw the people behind us getting shot, and I knew immediately that. And then again, you can't, when you hear that machine gun sound, I mean, you just never, you hear it and you just never forget it.
No, thank you for that. So the next question comes from HTF. How long did it take for ER to get there in emergency service?
Oh, there were ambulances there. It just sounds bad, but for all the drunk people, I mean, they had people with heat exhaustion. They had, people that had drank themselves stupid and sick. So there were probably, where we were, there were at least 4 ambulances just kind of in a row, like waiting. I actually saw some of the EMTs like actually enjoying the music and listening. So those were there. But I mean, I kept feeling like, as we were in just that one block area, and there was so much panic. And like I said, there were 22,000 people there. And so you really couldn't run like a full out run. Like you were banging into people and trying to get over people. And to your other question, I mean, I saw people getting like trampled. I mean, I saw, young girls just getting like mowed down and people running over top of them. I mean, so I'm sure my boyfriend and I both said there had to be so many broken bones from that. I mean, people throwing people over the fence. There was one in and one out in the general admission area, and then, like I said, we had our own entrance and exit. And a lot of people at that point, it didn't matter. People were just, but some of the people in general admission didn't know about our entrance and exit. So the majority of them were funneling out to that small general admission. And then they had like a screen around the sidewalk so that people couldn't just stand on the sidewalk and listen to the music without paying. So like, people had to get, and that was like maybe a 10-foot walkway. So you figure 22,000 people are trying to run in there and then through this walkway. So it was, I mean, people got so hurt from that. I can imagine that. I don't know how many rounds he got off. Like I said, when I was laying there, I was listening to the pop, pop, pop. I counted 38 before I stopped counting. So I know 38 bullets flew, and how many made contact at that point. I know there were many, many more. That was just one of the why I decided to count them. I think it was just my way of trying to. I kept thinking, like, honestly, at one point, I was like, he's got to run out of fucking ammo. There's like, how much ammunition does this person have? It's been 15 minutes. It's been 20 minutes. Like, this is insane. Like, how much ammunition does one person have? So.
Yeah. Thank you. So moving on to the next question is coming from Aorism. And do you agree with those who pursue litigation in the wake of this tragedy?
Oh my God, who would you sue? I mean, that's insane. I mean, besides this loser who, I don't know, well, who would you sue? I mean, that's insane.
Some on the media arguing that Mandalay Bay and Strip didn't have the correct amount of security for people that were overlooking that. And I'm not saying they're right, but that was what the media was saying.
No, that's crazy. I mean, I hate, again, I'm saying the word hate. I don't use this word. I just can't stand people that want to blame somebody. It's always got to be somebody's fault or somebody else's fault. You know what? Bad shit happens. This guy was fucking crazy. Like, crazy shit happens. Do you honestly think that people in Mandalay Bay were like, you know what? We're just going to be whatever, well, no, this is a crazy fucking person somehow was smart enough to get all that shit in there. So, no, I mean, that's insane. I have to say, though, I was not really joking, but I asked them as we were leaving, I was like, did we get charged for last night? Because we couldn't even get in here. Like, we couldn't even get to the hotel. So it's expensive. Like, and they didn't answer me, but I'm thinking, like, I'm hoping they just credit my credit card for the one night that I couldn't stay there. But so, yeah, I mean, would that be a cool, generous thing for them to do? I think it's right. I mean, they wouldn't let us in the hotel, but I mean, to sue them, I mean, no, I mean, no, I hate that about our society, that we would think that you could sue somebody that's stupid.
No, I agree. This comes from another user. Sam, I was in the military and have PTSD. And sadly, you most likely will have PTSD as well. I'm not sure if you will seek help for this condition, but do you plan on doing that?
God, you know what? I just don't want that. I don't want, I've dealt with a lot in my life. Like, I've never anything to this magnitude. Like, right now, I don't know what it's going to be like to close my eyes and try to sleep. Like, I'm scared, and I don't want to be scared. I don't want to be afraid. But like I said, I mean, I can see my boyfriend from where I'm sitting, but I mean, I'm not like this. Like, I'm not a clingy girlfriend. I'm very independent, but like, I don't want to let him out of my sight right now. And I don't want to be alone right now. And so, yeah, it's something that scares me because I want it to just go away. I want to forget about it. And I don't know. I mean, thankfully, like I said, I have a lady that I've talked to in the past with issues with my divorce and stuff. So maybe I'll reach out to her. I don't want, but I don't want to be scared, and I don't want to. I was in the bathroom just before we got on this, and I went to use the bathroom, and like, right away, I just was like, I felt like I need to get out of this bathroom, like I need to go back, and I just was so, I hate it, and I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like that. So thank you for that, and I will keep that in mind, and I will get help if I need it. Thank you.
No, I appreciate that, and as always, this server appreciates you being here, and obviously you're always welcome back here, and everyone here is more than happy to be a place for you if you ever need someone to talk to. But so the next question is after being in the event you were in, and this is from Newble, after being in the event you were in, how can we help victims of these traumatic experiences in the future?
Um, I saw one post that somebody on my Facebook, it was not on mine, but it was on a friend's or something, and she kind of made like a glib comment like, sounds to me like she ran as fast as she could and was only worried about getting back to her hotel room. And I am not like this, but I shot back a thing at this girl and I wanted to say, fuck you. But I said, look, you have no idea what you're talking about. And you have no idea what I did or who I did and who I helped. And so, just be sympathetic and listen, because as annoying, and I'm sure it's going to be annoying, I'm not going to talk too much about it just because I don't want to, but um like listen to people, and I saw the people giving blood, which was amazing and awesome that people would do that, and just listen to the stories, and I'll never again look at a magazine of some kind of even small scale tragedy and be glib and think to myself like, oh, that's not how I would act, or that's, because you don't fucking know. I'm sorry, but and again, I'm saying that from experience because I've read things before and thought about it, and the way, I mean, I knew me well enough that I would pray. I knew that I would try to console people. I'm a caregiver by nature, and I knew that part of me was going to come out no matter what. But the rest of it, I mean, you don't know. So I mean, just to listen and be understanding. And again, I pray. So I mean, I believe in the power of prayer. So I mean, for me, that's something that gets me through. So if you can do that, that's awesome. But just listen, and God, just be nice to each other. This is so stupid. How crazy quickly everything can change.
No, absolutely. Our next question comes from Therlin. And do you feel that Donald Trump and America should label this as a terrorist attack or no?
I think when like Joe Public thinks terrorist attack, they think Muslim, and they think another country. Like, no, this was a guy from the United States that, as of right now, they're telling us he had no Muslim ties. They're saying that ISIS is taking credit for it, but the FBI guy explained to us that ISIS likes to take credit for as much as they can, and since this was a pretty large scale destruction, that they're not surprised at ISIS, but they can't find any ties to ISIS on this guy's computer, on his cell phone. So they are not saying, but was it terrifying? Was it true terror? Absolutely. So if you want to say it was a terrorist, I mean, he absolutely was a terrorist. I mean, he instilled horrific fear and just downright evil. And so, yeah, could he be labeled a terrorist? Absolutely. But is it like terrorist as in, ISIS and 9/11? No, it's not that.
Fair enough. Do you think, and this comes from Boogerhook, and this kind of relates back to guns, and they mentioned you had a concealed to carry, so quite a few people are asking about that because there's a lot of gun supporters here. Do you think that we can have a productive conversation on the role of guns in America without resorting to all or nothing thinking? That is there a solution out there that can be reached that isn't ban them all or RPGs for everyone on the other side?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have a friend that has an AR that he brings it over and we shoot it in my backyard, but he has one, and he has, a small magazine for it. So, um, I'm definitely not an all or nothing person. I mean, I don't believe that at all. I mean, I want to feel safe. I live alone and I feel safe with my guns in my house. I don't believe that. But, do I believe this guy needed, I think the total now is up to 18 guns in that room. No, I mean, hell no, he didn't need that many. And I think at that point, because there are so many fucked up people, it would be okay when you're buying a gun. And who knows, maybe he stole. I don't know how he got them, but it would be okay to say like, why do you need so many? Like, what are you doing with it? I think at that point, unfortunately, this is the society we live in, and these are the losers that we have amongst us, and the insane. I mean, he had to be mentally ill to do this. He had to have been mentally ill. So we have that amongst us, so we need to take those precautions. But myself, if I have I've got a 38 special. I have a revolver. I have a sawed-off shotgun. So I mean, I have, and I could explain why I have them. Yeah, could he have? I don't think he could have explained. I don't have 18 guns, and I don't have, thousands of rounds of ammunition. I have a critical defense box of bullets, and I have a box of cheap bullets that I shoot stuff in my backyard with. So I mean, I think there's definitely a happy medium.
That was a great answer. Totally agree. Next question is from Jules167. Samantha, how do you feel about the race baiting taking place? Do you think it's detracting from the actual tragedy, or is the mainstream media trying to push a narrative and completely ignore the actual tragedy that occurred? And I think what that user is referring to is probably the fact that it was a white male.
Oh God, no. I mean that's just there were white people there, there were black people there, I saw Asian people there, I saw Puerto Rican people there, I saw people that I don't even know what nationality they were there. I mean, there were it doesn't matter what color. I don't care what color this guy was. This guy was the color of a freaking coward. I mean, I don't care what color his skin was. That's insane. And anybody that would try to make it a race issue, I mean, that's ridiculous. He would, I saw a black guy out on the street that had been shot who wasn't even in the concert. This guy was shooting whomever, wherever. He didn't care. So I think the race thing is a joke. So if anybody's saying that, that's bad. That's stupid.
All right. The next question is from Colorado is full, and the question is, how do you feel about people politicizing this shooting now that you were involved in this? And I think what they're referring to is when you see stuff on TV and you see the congressmen jump on it and they want this and they want that, and sudden it's a reason to be able to get a law passed, so on and so forth. Now that you were actually involved in it, has your opinion on that, or what is your opinion on that, and has it changed?
The one of the industries that I'm involved with does a lot of lobbying, and certainly not in what we just dealt with, but in a different industry. So when we have media sensationalized events happen, I see our congressmen and our senators jump all over it, and that's a politician. I mean, that's what they do. They want to get their point across, and this is certainly a horrific thing. So if they're going to use that to lobby their platform, I mean, I understand that. I get it. No, do I necessarily think it's right? No, but I do understand it. I mean, I grew up. My dad was a politician, so I grew up watching that game being played, and so and I don't think, from what I could see, everybody that I saw talking, and there was a congressman and a mayor and a senator, there wasn't any talk of that. I would think that's extremely inappropriate at this point. I don't think that's something to talk about right now. Maybe if they want to reference it later, I guess. But no, certainly that would be extremely insensitive when you have people still looking for each other and for their family.
All right. So, Samantha, we're gonna end here. We're gonna ask you one more question, and this will be the last question. And after you're done, you'll hear a bunch of clicks, and people are going to leave the chat, and it's going to be hard to talk, but we'll talk, obviously. And the last question is going to be, and I want you to let it out. I really do, because you have, and we appreciate that. And I think everyone feels like you made everyone here feel part of you. And they're in America, Netherlands, Sweden, Europe, France, Germany, people listening in right now. And you know what? You made us all feel what you did. And it hurt us. And we're here for you, though. And we want you to know that we're strong like you are, and we're behind you. And say something to them. You talked about your father and so on. If you could say something to them, what would you say?
I would just, you fucking coward. Like, why would you hurt so many people? Like, what the fuck were you thinking? Like, I would want to hurt him. I mean, I hate to say that. It's so not me, But yeah, I hate you. I hate the evil in you, and I mean, whatever happened to you and made you this way. I'm sorry, but I hate you, and I mean, I'm not happy that you killed yourself because you're a fucking coward, and you just so many people deserve so many questions answered, and even though none of this will ever make sense ever, you know, you took away so many people, not just me, but so many people's, you know, so many people's safe feeling and so many people's freedom, and that was such a big theme of this concert was freedom, and how thankful we are in this country to have our freedom, and you motherfucker took that away me and from the 58 people that you killed, and you're the 59th fucking fatality. You're an ass. I hate you, and I don't know. I just wish, I just I wish you were never born. I wish that whatever happened to you never happens to anybody, and it just, I don't know. I don't know.
No. Hey, you know what? I just want to tell you, we hate him with you and we love you. So you know that. And no, we do. And we're all one. So I want to say thank you again for coming here and talking about this. I'm crying. Um, thank you so much. We appreciate it. You are strong. Stay strong. I'll talk to you after this, but reach out to me if you ever need anything. Come here, talk to us. We're here for you. We love you, and thank you
Thank,
again.
thank you guys very much.
Thanks, Sam. Take care.
Bye.